Yeah, this is JS joint.
Air it out. I had to clear it out. I feel like Superman, I tear it down. Call as a quarterback, I send him out. I feel that air it out. I had to clear it out. I feel like Superman, I tear it down. Call as a quarterback, I send him out. Take off. I'm on a rocket, a space dog. Bought a new car from Elon, wanna race. I've been asking how long is it gonna take. I've been cracking the car, had to break it safe. I've been riding my wrongs, had to change my ways. I was stuck in one place, so I had to shake. They try holding me down, but I found my way. Riding rich and so bicycle, I mean. Ride away, then my heart went all ice again. Find the balance, my patience been going thin. In the field every day till I reach the end. Popping up on your side like we out of bounds. Ain't no way that they think that it's stopping now. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. I've been waiting for my turn to come around. Air it out. I had to clear it out. I feel like Superman, I tear it down. Call as a quarterback, I send him out. I feel that air it out. I had to clear it out. I feel like Superman, I tear it down. Call as a quarterback, I send him out.
What's up, football fans, and welcome to the Air It Out podcast. I know it's been a while. I know we've been inconsistent, and so let me be the first to apologize to you all for the inconsistency. But let me let you guys know now we are back, and we're in the full swing. Okay, especially because football is back. So, well, if football is back, you got to have the Air It Out podcast, right? Like they just go hand in hand at this point. So we are back again. New streaming time, 10 a.m. on Saturdays, even though it's a little past 10 a.m. today. Got a little late start. My computer is anyway. I am Avery Collins, and I'm your host. I am joined here with the I don't want to say the hostess with the mostest, because when you're not a hostess, I just like that phrase. But my man Juan, the one and only, well, not the one and only anymore, but Juan, say what's up to everybody.
What's up, everybody? Yep. No, I'm gonna be not only just one person in this household anymore, but two pretty soon, sooner than people may think. Won't get the details going, but safe to say that the planning has been stressful as heck, and it's all coming in such a big hurry, and I'm just like, but I'm glad that my mind is off my mind is focused on something that's not wedding plans, and that's football, baby, and that's what we're here for, and that's all I want to talk about.
I hear you. Well, again, congratulations to you and your lovely fiance, man. Can't wait for that to actually go down and be solidified for you. Trust me, I know how the wedding planning goes. It's a process to say the least. So yeah, so like you said, listen, we're here to talk football though. So with that being said, let's just jump in right now, okay? And the first thing, since you're the only one on, we're going to talk about the Jets today, and I know that this is going to warm your heart as the resident Jets fan on the pod here. And so I want to ask you a question. So the Jets are on Hard Knocks. The Jets have added Aaron Rodgers, and they've got Garrett Wilson, who people are touting as the next Devontae Adams. They just signed Dalvin Cook. There's a lot of hype around the Jets, and actually, a friend of mine posted something on social media, and they said when Tom Brady went to the Bucs, he won a Super Bowl in his first year, and he was expected to. When Matthew Stafford went to the Rams and finally got a defense, he won a Super Bowl in his first year and was expected to. When Russell Wilson, a former Super Bowl winning quarterback, went to the Broncos and got another good defense and running game, he had Super Bowl expectations. There were Super Bowl expectations placed on him. But it seems like when it comes to the Jets, if the Jets don't even make the Super Bowl, it's like people are like saying like, no, it's not going to be that bad. And I think he said that basically they're trying to coddle Aaron Rodgers and protect his image, the great Aaron Rodgers. Now, with all that being said, my question to you is, are the Jets for real? Should there be Super Bowl expectations placed on the Jets? I mean, I understand that it's a new season. People have to gel. There's got to be some chemistry, some camaraderie, all these different things. But we're talking about without question, a Hall of Fame quarterback. We're talking about a loaded offense at this point. And then obviously defensively, we see and on paper they should be better than they were last year, and they weren't bad last year. I believe they were a top 10 defense. So are the Jets for real? Should we be placing Super Bowl expectations on them?
I think that, yes, there should be Super Bowl expectations on this team. However, for fans like me, we don't want there to be, because that would make just the disappointment that much bigger if this team falters down the line. And part of the reason I became such a huge NFL fan over the years is because the Jets sucked. And they sucked, and their suckiness gave me the ability to study other teams and start falling in love less with the Jets and more with the NFL in general, with the game of football in general. But now that the Jets have real expectations, real standards, they have a Hall of Fame quarterback, a coach that has driven this team culture to a place it hasn't seen since Rex Ryan, and on top of that, having so many major spotlights from ESPN to their own series on YouTube to Hard Knocks. The expectations are through the roof. And it is a very scary place to be. Look, Aaron Rodgers, yes, he's 39 years old, and he had a down season last year, but he had a down season because he hurt his thumb. That thumb is looking great right now. He's been looking great in practice. He looks rejuvenated. He's been saying as much. But there's still issues of this team that make me worry about having a 39-year-old quarterback throw the ball, mainly the offensive line. It's not to say that it's not talented. These are a good group of offensive linemen. They have talent. They're just hurt. And when you're hurt, you can't gel as a unit. And that is probably the biggest detriment to an offensive line, not being able to practice together because you keep rotating the cast of characters there. I'm sure it's a good cast of characters, but no matter how talented you are, if you don't know how the other guy's going to react when defensive lineman is going to stun inside the A block or wrap around the B block or anything, or any other kind of crazy blitz schemes or anything like that, you're not going to be able to gel. So there's that. But apart from that, there's talent across the board. I mean, you have a Pro Bowl / second team All-Pro linebacking core led by CJ Mosley. You have probably the best DB group in the NFL, led by DJ Reed and Ahmad Sauce Gardner. You have a great rotation of defensive line and an emerging young star and rookie defensive end, Will McDonald, on top of Al Woods, who came from the Seahawks, and Quentin Williams, who just got paid, and Tanzel Smart, who's a Hard Knocks favorite now after trying to pronounce charcuterie board, and I'm not going to repeat how he said it on the show. You have great offensive weapons in a 1-2 punch running back duo of now Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, who's coming back from injury. You have a pretty underrated wide receiver core. Would another receiver be a fantastic addition for a true number 2? Absolutely, alongside Garrett Wilson. I've seen floating trades around getting Mike Evans onto the New York Jets to see if he could complement being a big-bodied receiver like that. But honestly, I think, trying to build and trying to bring all these pieces together, everyone's freaking out because the Jets have a high expectation going into the season, but a small window to do it. And, Rodgers is going to turn 40 in December. And we don't know whether he'll fall off a cliff or whether he'll still remain consistently not great, but really, really good, which is what the Jets need in compared to the top 10 caliber defense that they have and a great running attack that they have. So I would say that the Super Bowl expectations are high, but I will not be disappointed as a Jets fan if they get bounced out of the divisional round. Minimum. I need them to win at least one wild card game.
Yeah, they got it. If they lose in the first round of the playoffs, even honestly, the only way they can lose their first game of the playoff and it'd be okay is they would have to win the NFC and have the number 1 overall seed, get that bye week, and that's the only way. It's the only way. It's the only way I could see. I would be able to accept them losing their first playoff game. Outside of that, yeah, I agree. They've got to win at least their first playoff game. I don't care. Yeah. Anyway, but I think one of the things that bodes well for the Jets and Aaron Rodgers is, one, he's used to playing in the cold. So I know a lot of times when quarterbacks transition to do new teams, let's say it'd be somebody like for example, a Justin Herbert coming from the East Coast to play in Buffalo or something like that. There's a question, can this guy play in the cold? You don't have to worry about that with Aaron Rodgers. He's played in Green Bay, Wisconsin for his entire career up until now. So you don't have to worry about that. And New York doesn't get nearly as cold as that does. So you're good on that end. I agree that I think the Jets are for real. I think the biggest question mark last year was the quarterback situation. I think on paper, they solidified that. You've got a Hall of Fame quarterback now at the helm. And honestly, if you had a better quarterback play last season, I think without question you make the playoffs, right? I think you win at least a minimum 2 more games last season. I think you make the playoffs. And there's a possibility that you win a playoff game in that conference. So now like I said, you add in Aaron Rodgers, who again he's a Hall of Famer. I still have him in the top 3 quarterbacks in the league. Honestly, he's number 2 behind Patrick Mahomes. And so I think that for real, I think for me, I'm not a Super Bowl or bust person. I've never been that guy, but I am going to say Super Bowl or letdown. Right? I don't think it's a bust, but I do believe it'll be a letdown if they don't at least make the Super Bowl. Now, winning the Super Bowl is a tall task. We saw the Eagles, they lost 3 games all season last year and lost the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs, which tells you, winning the Super Bowl is not easy. So getting there is an accomplishment in and of itself. We're talking about the Eagles, who had to deal with that amazing 49ers defense. We're talking about the Eagles, who had probably a top 3 defense in the NFL themselves, and they still lost. So for me, I think it's Super Bowl or letdown. How do you feel about that?
We're in a conference. Not we. I don't know the Jets. The Jets are in a conference that are comprised of probably some of the biggest team juggernauts in the league right now. Chiefs aside, you got the Buffalo Bills, who are still looking to be in their prime with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs connection. You have Joe Burrow just in the Bengals, kind of like leading the charge, trying to show that, they can make it back after getting kicked out by the Chiefs last year. The Dolphins are looking like a team on the rise, despite issues in their DB room at the moment and health concerns with Tua Tagovailoa. You can never really count out the Patriots, no matter how much you try. I don't think the Patriots are going to be making big noise, but don't ever doubt Bill Belichick. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars, they may not be like a huge juggernaut, but Trevor Lawrence is coming into his own as a quarterback.
Calvin Ridley looks like he is primed to go off.
Exactly. So I can't discount that. To me, this is giving when Stephon Diggs first stepped onto the scene for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen had the breakout 3rd year that he had. This is what I feel this is going to be for Trevor Lawrence. This is going to be his Josh Allen year. And I'm trying to think of the other teams that are contenders in the AFC.
I could go right now. You can't count out the Ravens with the dynamic player that Lamar Jackson is. You really can't count out the Browns because it seems like Deshaun Watson is going to have that resurgent type of season this year. You can't even count out the Tennessee Titans with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins. So now you have a threat at receiver along with Derrick Henry in the backfield. Now these are more on the lower end of the AFC, I would say, but I think they're still contenders. They're in. Once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen.
add the Pittsburgh Steelers to that list too. On top of that, what we just talked about with Justin Herbert, the Los Angeles Chargers, even though they get bounced from the league all time, they're still a very competitive team. Like I said before, this is a very, very, very competitive AFC that I have not seen in a while. The Jets were in the NFC, I'd say they have a shot. But like in the AFC, you gotta carve your place at the table, and to do that, you gotta find your way. You gotta find your way early in the season, and that schedule's not easy.
I hear you. All right, so speaking of some of the new additions to these different teams, speaking of all the obviously it's the preseason. I want to talk about something that kind of mirrors new additions, because they're new additions. Typically, whether if they're a rookie or if it's from a trade or whatever, I want to talk to you about the studs and duds of camp so far. Like, who are the guys that have been standing out to you that you're like, man, this guy is going to be major. This guy has the potential to be something special. And then who are the guys where you're like, I was expecting a little more. Now I have some question marks. Talk to me.
Well, I'll make it real quick. I only have two. One is from the town that I currently live in. It's the Detroit Lions. I gotta go with my guy, the safety, Brian Branch, the rookie out of Alabama, has been an impressive addition. The second rounder, CJ Gardner-Johnson said he's a stud, a star. That's what you want from any rookie that you expect. You expect a lot of you. He's over exceeding expectations. And I can attest to that very well. The guy's a hard hitter. He can identify the plays really well, especially routes. That really hard hit he had against the Giants last week was just phenomenal, and kind of like a testament to what he brings to this Lions defense, which was missing last year, which is grit and toughness, specifically in the secondary. And I feel like that this rookie is bringing that alongside CJ Gardner-Johnson, alongside Cam Sutton. This is going to be a secondary that competes for top 5, top 10 status in the league, and it's going to be able to do that because of the culture change at the DB position. I think this defense will take a step forward because of the additions there. And then the dud, I'm going to stick in the NFC North, and I'm going to go to my old stomping grounds, which is Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I'm going to go with Lucas Van Ness, the first-round linebacker. He's a physical beast. He's impressed with his strength and his speed, but he is not working. His mechanics are very raw. NFL.com's Lad Zierlein had said that he needs to work on his hand placement and shedding blocks. He needs to work on finding his target when he's rushing, because he'll rush blindly into the backfield but miss on target when he's trying to make a tackle. He just needs to work out. He just needs to work on his technique and his mechanics. And that's something that, funny enough, a former Packer first-round pick had problems with when he got drafted, which is 2018's Rashawn Gary. And then Rashawn Gary turned out to be one of the better pass rushers that the Packers have had in a while. One of the better young pass rushers that they've had. So Van Ness, I have faith that he'll be able to develop in like a 2-3 year span, but he's got to get to work.
Okay, I'm not mad at it. So I'm gonna go two studs and a dud. So my two studs, I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going to start with Bijan Robinson. I think what I saw yesterday in his debut for the Atlanta Falcons against the Bengals. Now, granted, the Bengals aren't a team known for a vaunted rushing defense or anything like that, but his first carry went for 12 yards, and honestly, it should have went to the house if it was not for a bad block by our outside wide receiver and just a really good diving tackle by the safety. I mean, he would have been to the house on his first ever NFL carry.
That guy's a top 5 fantasy pick, man.
Like the explosion that I saw, I said, okay, this guy, he's the real deal. So I'm gonna say stud, and obviously the things that I've seen, being a Falcons fan, watching the different clips from camp and everything like that. Obviously, I mean, we've seen him in the passing game as well, which just be absolutely phenomenal. I'm still upset that we passed on a guy who is actually going to be my second stud. His name is, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle from Georgia. Man, this guy, I mean, he really is just. He's got the potential to be a generational talent. He's got the potential to be that Aaron Donald, Vince Wilfork type player, like Haloti Ngata, Warren Sapp. Just
the Eagles know how to find defensive talent, and they go to Georgia like that. It's basically the Philadelphia Bulldogs at that point.
The Philadelphia Bulldogs are the Georgia Eagles at this point. Like but I mean, he's as advertised. And I've been saying it honestly for the last 2 years. I said Jalen Carter is going to be an absolute beast. I was hoping that we were going to get him, and this was again 2 years ago, just because I feel like Grady Jarrett doesn't get the credit he deserves because of all the double teams that he sees. Marlon Davidson has not panned out, which I assumed was going to happen. And I just feel like somebody like Arnold Ebiketie would have also benefited from that. So I just feel like we absolutely should have went Jalen Carter, because to me, the Jalen Carter, Grady Jarrett, Arnold Ebiketie, even Lorenzo Carter, that combo I would have liked. Now we have added in Bud Dupree and Calais Campbell, so I'm not mad with the veteran additions, but I would have loved a young core to be led by the veteran that is Grady Jarrett. So yeah. So let's go to the comments real quick. Chris said Inside the Hashes in the morning. Absolutely. New streaming times, just letting you know, 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings. And he also said, y'all seen that Nolan Smith tape? Our D-line is stacked. Listen, man.
This Philadelphia team is stacked, man. Like,
we know.
How we working some magic, man.
That part, Chris, you would think, right? Like, you would think we're in this like, what is happening?
I mean, like you got the Bulldogs and the Falcons. You got the Clemson Tigers with the Falcons. Like there's a weird not used pipeline going on here. You even have like the freaking the Crimson Tide and the Falcons. Like,
Chris, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I've loved you more. Like, that is just the most astute statement that I think you've ever made on the Air It Out podcast. I absolutely love it. I love it. But yes, so those are my studs. My dud so far, and this is more so just based on I'm not sure what we're going to get from him just yet, and because I haven't seen it. And it's Christian Gonzalez for the New England Patriots. I just haven't seen enough from him, and I think that's why he kind of fell. It's starting to make sense why he fell a little bit. I still think he's going to be a good player. Let me be clear. Still think he's going to be a good player. I think that he just hasn't stood out in camp the way I would have expected him to, specifically because he dropped when he was told to be the number one corner coming off the board. Like, I would have come in with a chip on my shoulder, hitting everything moving. I would have pressed every single snap, even when they told me not to. I would have made noise because I fell. That's just me. So I'm concerned with that. And then the honorable mention stud is Zay Flowers of the Baltimore Ravens. That dude is as advertised, man. That dude is shifty. My goodness, the Ravens got something there. They could have some real fun with him and Lamar Jackson. That's all I'm going to say about that. We're going to move, though, into the game picks because I know you've got some things that you got to take care of as well as I. So let's just jump into the game picks. Again, as we do it all the time, you give your game picks and you get one game that you give an explanation if you would like to. I don't know if you want to in the preseason, but we're going to jump into the game picks. So Juan, kick it off. Let's get your game picks, sir.
I'm going to go work backwards so I can leave the best for last, best at least for me. Tonight is Cowboys Seahawks. With the preseason going on and how much depth that this team has, I am going to take the Cowboys to win this one. Then the Raiders versus the Rams. You know what? The Raiders will surprise me. I think they beat the Rams, especially because of how they looked against the Chargers last week. Chiefs Cardinals. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals because surprisingly, their defensive line looked decent, especially against the Broncos offensive line. They have depth at the DL position, and the Chiefs, they don't really care about the preseason that much, so I don't think they're gonna put that much effort into it. The Titans versus the Vikings. I think the Vikings will surprise me, and the Titans with working with Malik Willis and Will Levis as a rotating number 2, number 3 quarterback thing. It was weird. So I think they're just gonna lose there. Patriots and Packers. Give me the Packers. I think Jordan Love's gonna show out. Jets versus Buccaneers. I'm gonna be a homer. And I'm gonna take the Jets because I do not think that the Bucs have, even though the practice reports are whatever. Then the Colts and the Bears. Give me the Colts. Bills and Steelers. Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna take the Bills on that one. The Dolphins versus the Texans, I will take the Texans. And then this is my explainer game, Jaguars at Lions. So the reason I'm trying to hop off is because I'm going to be at that game in the press box covering the game for CBS News Detroit alongside our own Ronnie Duncan and just flexing down here. And I'm going to be there and I'm going to, be able to watch where this team is going, where I've seen it going. I'm so excited to see the rookies stand out, especially not just Jaheir Gibbs and Sam Laporta. I also want to see linebacker Jason Campbell. He's been doing phenomenal at camp, and I know he can show up that middle linebacker position if he just got a little bit more aggressive. Free Devontae Adams, oh my God. And as for the Jaguars, I just want to see I just want to see if I can meet with Trevor Lawrence again, because when I was in Syracuse, I met him when he was a Clemson Tiger. Now I'm going to see him as a Jacksonville Jaguar. So life does really come full circle sometimes.
All right. I like it. I'm not mad. Did you give your Ravens Commanders pick for Monday?
Oh, no, I did. I thought we were just doing Saturday games.
You might as well do Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Sunday, Saints at Chargers. I'll take the Chargers. And then Ravens at Commanders. I will take the Commanders.
All right. So I'm gonna start with the Monday night game. I'm gonna go Ravens over Commanders because the Ravens have not lost a preseason game since 2015. Fun fact, which is wild to think about, but they have not lost a preseason game since 2015. I'm going with the Ravens until they show me that they're going to lose in the preseason. Saints with the Chargers. I will go with the. It's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Chargers, though. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think I'll go with the Chargers. I think they may have just a little bit more depth. That happened already. Where are we at? Seahawks, Cowboys. Seahawks, I think have more depth, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks over the Cowboys there, and I don't think the Cowboys even care about preseason. Rams versus the Raiders. I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. I think the Rams pull it out. And let's go Broncos 49ers. I'm going to go with the 49ers, and this will be my explain game. I think that this is going to be a game where Trey Lance decides that he's going to shut everybody up with his reps. I think he's going to come in and he's going to really try to put on good film, right? There have been reports that he just will not be a fit in Kyle Shanahan's offense. One NFL GM completely disrespected him, in my opinion, by saying that he just didn't have it as an NFL quarterback. I believe the quote was, when his mama took him out the crib, she knew then he didn't have it as an NFL quarterback, and I feel like that was disrespectful.
It's weird. Why do these executives make these comments and then just hide behind anonymity?
Like literally, it's like if you're bold enough to say something like that, be bold enough to stand on it and put your name on it. That to me, that's I don't like that. That's corny. And yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And don't bring my mom into any situation, because that ain't good. Packers versus the Patriots. Give me the Packers. Titans versus the Vikings. I'm going to agree with you. I'll go with the Vikings here. Chiefs versus the Cardinals, same. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Chiefs don't care about the preseason. Buccaneers versus the Jets. You got to go with the Jets. Bears versus the Colts. Ooh. Give me the Colts here. Bills versus the Steelers. Steelers. Dolphins versus the Texans. Give me the Dolphins to get their first preseason win. And Jags versus the Lions. Give me the Jags. I think Calvin Ridley, if he plays in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes over, like, if he plays 2 series, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes over 100 yards. Like, say again.
I'll let you know if he does.
Listen, I'm telling you, this guy is he's an absolute stud. I'm upset that we don't have him, but it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head out of here. That is the Air It Out podcast, okay? We want to thank you guys for joining us. We truly, truly appreciate it. Again, like I said, new streaming time, 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings. And as always, please follow us on all your social media platforms, okay? That is Instagram and Facebook at Inside the Hashes, Twitter at Inside Hashes. And please do me a favor, go check out the website, www.insidethehashes.com. That's where you're going to get all of your football content that you need. That's blogs, that's podcasts, that's gaming, that's fantasy football, all different types of things, the player interviews, all of that. And then go over to YouTube. Please go over to YouTube and subscribe. Okay, subscribe to our YouTube channel and then turn on the notifications so you know when we are going live, and you can get your comments put on live. We can interact with you, you know. And as always, if that doesn't work, just scan this here code in the at the top of the screen. Scan that QR code, and that QR code will take you exactly where you need to be. Okay, Chris says nice throwback shirt, Juan. You know.
I like this logo better than the other Pistons logo, to be honest.
You know what? I agree with you there. I like that one better. But like I said, this is the Air It Out podcast. For Juan, my name is Avery. Air It Out podcast, brought to you by Inside the Hashes. Matt Ryan would still be in the league if he wasn't having football.
No. He's in a CBS studio now. I can attest to that. He is not coming back to the NFL. He's on